All right, the border is still a mess. Better than 2 million, as you know, a record number of migrants crossing into this country. That doesn't include likely the hundreds of thousands of so-called gotaways. But the administration seems to be focused on a very different number, the roughly 24,000 Venezuelans trying to get here and trying to rein at least that number in, especially since a disproportionate number of Venezuelans like to claim asylum to ease their way here, or at least get them in here to adjudicate their case. Joel Villarreal joins us right now, the Rio Grande City, Texas mayor. Mayor, this subset of the migrant population coming in to the country, and the fact the administration is focusing on that, I'm sure you would welcome any focus on the border and anyone trying to get in here, but that contingent, what do you think?
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me on your program. And we must call it for what it is. And this is Biden's rendition of Remain in Mexico 2.0. And ironically, Biden is following Trump's lead, which, by the way, Remain in Mexico is highly effective in managing large influxes of migrants. And currently, we are experiencing record numbers of apprehensions, over 2.2 million. Now, the flip side is that Remain in Mexico is not a permanent solution for our broken immigration system. However, it is beneficial when our migrant processing capabilities are overextended and compromised, and consequently jeopardizing our national security. So absolutely, there is a component there, and we must address our broken immigration system. And I know we've had these conversations before, but nonetheless, at this point, is it too little, too late? I don't know. Bottom line, this is something that we need to address as a country. We need to address our asylum laws, our immigration laws, our visa programs. In fact, visa overstays account for almost half of the population living in the U.S. illegally. And we have close to 1 million visa overstays annually. So bottom line, there is something that we need to do, and unfortunately we haven't done it thus far. And I know we've had this conversation that both political parties have failed to prioritize our broken immigration system. And but bottom line, we need to take action, not words, not promises, not rhetoric, action. And not as browns, blacks, or whites, not as Republicans or Democrats, but as Americans, and carefully manage the balance between immigration and border security, which can mutually coexist. We just haven't found the middle ground.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. But Mayor, does Mexico need to take action as well? Do you think they help in this process? As you know, they're not keen on this idea that a lot of these Venezuelans and their cases are going to be handled in Mexico, which, as you rightly pointed out, does seem to be going back to the policy under the Trump years. But I am curious as to whether you think they're making this situation worse. I mean, after all, you know, the overwhelming number of migrants who make their way to our side of the border first make their way to the southern side of the Mexican border from Guatemala and point south. And it doesn't appear that Mexico does anything to stop that.
Well, we must work with Mexico and the Northern Triangle countries to counter these human trafficking operations and gather intelligence. And Mexico is willing to be a partner in this. However, we need to absolutely sit down with them and have that conversation, because there are many elements to this that benefits both countries. So it is something that Mexico and the U.S.
We've had those conversations, haven't we, Mayor? We had the conversation. I'm just wondering, do they ignore us, or maybe things are being done behind the scenes that I'm unaware of? But are they doing as much as they could be doing?
At this point, I don't know what the conversation, because again, you said there have been conversations, but what exactly that they have the conversations on? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know the information. However, the people that I've worked with, by the way, I do make many trips to Mexico, and with my counterparts here, mayors in Camargo, Miguel Alemán, Díaz Ordaz, and we sit down and have the conversations. And guess what? We have mutual understandings of what needs to happen here at the border, and they do share many of the same concerns: security, safety, tourism, commerce, and guess what? They're willing to work with us. I work very well and closely with the mayors here right across the border here in Rio Grande City. So honestly, I do not see why the governors or the president of Mexico would not have or open to the conversation of sitting down and working this out, because Mexico benefits too by having a good working relationship with the U.S. You're talking about billions of dollars in trade and every conceivable commodity and service with destination anywhere USA. Here at our own two-way or two-lane bridge here, it's over $1 billion in trade, and that's just one single bridge. But we have so many opportunities that we can certainly work with Mexico, and this is one of them. And they are open to this idea that we need to address immigration and absolutely have a hold on it, because if we're not, we're going to continue to have these issues. Now, another thing, by the way, and this is imperative that we address too. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, employment is projected to increase by 12 million jobs. So right now we have also the opportunity to address both issues, immigration and the future crisis, which will be labor shortages. It's going to be a point where labor shortage is going to be a crisis.
We got to act. We got to act on this, to your point, Mayor. Thank you. I wish we had more time, sir, but it's always good having you. I appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.